Hello, family. As children of God, we will have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just like gold is purified through fire, you have to burn off the dross. So, we have to be purified through fire because in your life, when you go through hard times, you know who's on your side or who's with you. Because when you're going through the hard times, the real friends will be there or the real family members will be there. But the ones who are fake, they'll fall off to the side. So you know who's with you. And when we go through that, walk through the valley of the shadow of death, God has a passage for that. This Psalms. This is Psalms 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. So when we don't fear evil, we have faith, and that's a spiritual tool. So when we use these spiritual tools that God has given us, we can make it through that valley of the shadow of death, and not broken down, but even stronger. Let me keep on reading. "Thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff comfort me." So what is the rod and staff? Those are spiritual principles, because like I say, when we use these spiritual principles, like forgiveness, and tolerance, because people will come against you. You'll notice when you're down, that's when Satan tries to put his foot on you and keep you down. But he can't keep you down if you use the tools that God has given you, to combat these things. And like I say, that's why spiritual principles are so important. As I'm walking through my valley of the shadow of death, I have become stronger. I've got a stronger relationship with God, and thank goodness, Holy Spirit, back in my 20s, I was exposed to spiritual principles. So I've been incorporating them in my life for like over 30 something years. So, when my valley of the shadow of death came, with, losing my wife, my job, my source of income, where I live, then put into a trap, a situation that was supposed to tear me down. But it didn't, because I have a personal relationship with God and I've incorporated spiritual principles. So, that's why having those spiritual principles are so important. Those are our rods and our staff, and having faith in God, and leaving it up to Him, to help us through that hard time, because we can't get through it by ourselves. But with God, we can get through anything. So, make sure you have those spiritual principles when you choose, or whenever, you choose to have God and follow Him, because you will have your valley of the shadow of death, period. And you won't get through it without God and with the spiritual principles. But I love you. God bless you. Have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. Bye.